In this video, we will solve a data analyst interview question which is commonly asked for companies like Flipkart, Amazon, Big Basket, and similar e-commerce platform companies. The question is, find returning active users for an e-commerce platform. So we have to write a query that will identify returning active users. A returning active user is a user that has made a second purchase within 7 days of another purchase. Output a list of user IDs of these returning active users. So we are given a table called as underscore transactions. So this is a table which I have created. Let me query the table and let us see the schema and then let us solve the query. So this is the table which we are going to use, which consists of columns, ID, user ID, item, created at. Created at means the transaction happened on that particular date. And finally, we have a column called as revenue. And now from this table, we have to find the returning active users. And a condition is also given here. So a user is considered returning active user when he has made a second purchase within 7 days of any other of their purchases. Let us start writing the query. So we'll start with a select clause, select, and now we are going to select all the columns from the Flipkart underscore transaction table. So I'm giving an alias name as ft dot star. Now this is from the table Flipkart underscore transactions. Let me copy the table name, paste it here. Now here we are going to find the difference between the latest purchase and the previous purchase date for each customer ID. Sorry, yeah, customer ID. It can be user ID or customer ID. So here it's user ID. So now we are going to find that. For that we are going to use the function called as lag, using lag function, and inside the lag function I'm going to write the arguments. So the argument will be created at. Now in the over clause we will specify partition, that is partition by user ID, user underscore ID, and order by clause is based on created at, which is in ascending order, created at in ascending order. And this is the previous purchase date for each transaction with respect to a user ID. So we have created a window with respect to user ID, and we are now creating a new column called as the previous purchase date, and then we can compare the previous purchase date and the actual purchase date to see if the difference between the two dates are 7 or not. So we'll give the column name as previous purchase date. Once I execute the query, it will be more clear. I'm executing this. Column prefix ft does not match with a table name. So it is because I haven't given the alias name in the from clause. Now it will be fine. Execute this. And now we will get a new column called as previous purchase date. And now we can see that for each customer ID or user ID as a partition, we have created a new column called as previous purchase date. So if I take the first record where user ID is 100, we can see that the created date is 2023/7. The next purchase happened for that user was on 2023/13. And coming to the previous purchase date column, we can see that the record 2023/7 is appearing here, which means the user ID 100 has made his previous purchase on that particular date. And coming down, we can see that this 2023/13 is coming in the next row, which means 2020 corresponding to the record 2020/03/18. This is the previous purchase date. Similarly, for each users, we have created the previous purchase date with respect to each transactions. Now let us keep this query inside a CTE, that is CT1 as. And now we are going to find the difference between the previous purchase date and create date. We will write a select clause, select, and the column which we require are user underscore ID, then created at, comma, then previous purchase date. Then we are going to find the difference between previous purchase date and created at. For that, we are going to use the function called as date diff. and inside we have to specify the interval, then starting date and the ending date. So here it will be day, then comma, after that the second argument, which is the starting date, that is previous purchase date, then the third argument will be the created at date. And this is the difference between the previous purchase date and created date. I will give a column name as diff date, and this is taken from the ct1. Now if we execute this, we will get another result where we can see that we have a column called as user id created at previous purchase date and date diff. From this we can identify that if that user is making a purchase within the 7 days gap, that is, once a user has made a purchase, if a user is again making a purchase within the 7 days, we can identify from this date diff column. And for that, here we will write a where clause where we will copy this entire function, copy this, paste it here. Now we will write which is less than or equal to 7. Now execute this and we will get records for which where date diff is less than or equal to 7. Execute, and now we can see that date diff for every record is less than or equal to 7. Now here we have to only find the users which are returning, so we does not require all these columns in the output. For that we can place this query also inside a cte, which is cte2. And now from the cte2 we will take only the user id from cte2, simply write a group by clause which will give us the distinct user id who are returning. Now execute this and we can see that all these user id will be the returning customers user ids. So all these customers are the frequently returning customers who are making frequent purchases within a gap of 17 days. Sorry, not 17 days, 7 days. There are also different methods of solving the same question. You can try your own methods, and if you have some interesting methods, you can comment the method. I will pin the comment. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, subscribe our channel for more. Thank you.